Hello, my name is Dannell MacIlwraith, and I wrote this abstract and outlined this lecture in December when the world was a different place. And I framed my presentation in the form of a question: Is the future online? Now that is a statement. This is temporary. We will transition back to in-classroom teaching, or will we? Our administrations are looking, is it possible to teach classes online? You might have already received an email, one of hundreds, asking if you could or would take your class online in the future. I teach at Kutztown University in the Communication Design Department, and I cannot say enough good things about our devoted students and our fabulous team faculty members who have been working together to teach online in a consistent manner, which can really help the students for clarity purposes. We also have an online MFA program that has always been online, and they meet 3 times a year, but the rest is set up online. So they're very comfortable with that online setting more than our underclassmen. So COVID-19 is a disruptor, and it's a disruptor to our normal lives, to the economy, to travel, and to education. Everything about this moment feels surreal, and it lacks any clear endpoint. This pandemic has shown our weaknesses and strengths in education. One huge issue that we have been dealing with is students who had internet access and computer access might not have it anymore. Home situations might not be as consistent as their campus life was. So the question could be asked, are online classes for more privileged students? Back to my original topic of how or is, and I think one important part of an online class is the syllabus, and students currently do not read. This is very problematic for online classes. They're a generation of TikTok and Instagram. They want items quick, fast, and fleeting. So it's really important for an online class to review the syllabus on a Zoom call. So they all can, one, hear your voice. They can, you can tell them stories and make them understand the capacity and the objectives of that specific class. I always do a beginning of the year survey. This is really going to help you find out who your demographic is for this semester. And every semester, this will be very different. And it could even help, it did help now when we transitioned to online classes. So I use Google Forms to ask some basic questions. Will you be working on a Mac or a PC? Maybe all your demos are done on a Mac, and we find out that in this case, 59% of the students were on a PC, which I am not as familiar with on. So finding that happy medium or dealing with that. Asking if they live on campus. Will they be able to come on campus and talk to me in person, or is that a little bit more of a difficulty? Do they work? What are their priorities in their life? This was a freshman class, so you can see 45% of them did not work, but 40% did work online, part-time. Do they have a smartphone? Again, a really important question about technology. I always ask Wi-Fi and smartphone. We use a smartphone for photos and videos, Adobe Scan, some different app development applications, to finding if they have that capability. And in this case, one student did not, and I was able to reach out. We were able to rectify that situation. And then finally, the objectives. This setting yourself, seeing where they are in the beginning of the semester of your objectives, what they know about maybe the technology or the design principles or whatever your objectives for that course would be, so we can get a starting point. I'm not going to go too deep into my setup, but I will say that I organize by week. This gives them flexibility for an entire week to complete work. A lot of them are juggling a lot of other things, so that be other classes, work, home life, children, etc. And I recommend running from a Tuesday to a Monday. So starting Tuesday AM, opening that week, and then closing Monday PM. I have learned the first time I ran it through a weekend, and if you run it through a weekend, you will get a lot of weekend emails, which I think we at least try to avoid. What this pandemic has taught me is that I need to see their faces, and they need to see my face. They need to see my enthusiasm. Weekly Zooms can help with that. Critique. So I love Padlet for critique. I kind of have talked my entire department into using Padlet because it is very user-friendly. It's an easy drag and drop interface. It looks very similar to social media, so students feel very comfortable on it. And you can leave a lot of comments. So I use this from everything from thumbnails. They have to do 50 logo thumbnails, you can see, or we do comps, so hand-done pieces as well as digital final pieces and digital imaging. This is something new that we just purchased. It's a USB document camera. It has come in really handy for showing books. In my design class, I have demoed hand lettering on this as well, so they can see my techniques and also different making techniques. This is set up in our distance learning department, which we can't access right now, but it is really great for lectures. It's called the Learning Glass. It basically allows you to interact with this piece of glass, this large piece of glass, as almost a blackboard that you can write notes and diagrams and sketches to, and they can see your face through the glass. So it's a really great way to speak directly to your class and hold lectures. Finally, the end of year survey. This is where now I can see how I've hopefully pushed that bar up in my learning objectives. Again, this is just for me knowledge. It's what I'm striving for, and I can find out what projects they might have liked the best or the least for future classes. And then I always ask, will they dare to take another online class? Finally, what online learning lacks, and I think that's happiness. Yes, our students are still learning, but we really miss that hands-on making. We miss those team activities, that sense of community. That is impossible to recreate in an online platform. I miss hearing them laugh and joke around in their group critiques, being able to just doodle something real quick and hand it to them. That's something we just cannot recreate with an online. Thank you for listening to me. Feel free to follow me and contact me with any questions.